Now just picture this. It's summer, a World Cup year, vuvuzelas, an iconic match ball, the first World Cup hosted in Africa, vuvuzelas, waka waka, waving flag, Paul the octopus, vuvuzelas. Now some say that this period in time was the closest humanity ever got to world peace, and I wholeheartedly have to agree. I've explored every FIFA World Cup standalone game, but never revisited the glorious 2010 South Africa in all its glory, and that just doesn't sit right with me. We're dedicating today's video to the brilliance that was standalone FIFA games and not any lackluster World Cup DLC. This game is actually considered one of the best of its time. Best in the franchise, depending on who you talk to. Before we get kicked off, just a moment of silence for the Xbox 360 store, which shut down this week. Prayers up, press Fs in the chat to pay your respects. The Xbox 360 dashboard just doesn't look the same anymore. It just looks like a shell of itself now. Nevertheless, RIP to the store. The peak Xbox 360 era was seriously generational. And as you load in, you just get immediately transported back to 2010. 14 years ago. God damn, I'm getting old. I think this came out a couple months before the actual World Cup took place, so it gave you time to get hyped for the tournament, to build up all the energy and focus around one of the biggest events, not just only in sports, but in the world. It made it really feel like a massive event, an occasion, and you had all the sights and sounds of South Africa, all the qualified teams. You got North Korea in there, the South African colors, the rainbow flag everywhere, and this color scheme, this theme was one of the most unique aesthetics we've ever had in a FIFA game. There was no little free DLC you could download on FIFA 10. This was the definitive 2010 World Cup experience for gamers. And if you stayed in the startup menu long enough, you'd get this tutorial video play. I thought you'd get a trailer of some sort, but no, you've got penalty kick tutorial. And here we go, we've loaded up in, and it just feels like you're transported to streets of Africa with the music in the background, the menu, the colors, the vibrance. It just captured the vibes of the first African hosted World Cup. My god, what a throwback this is. Just take a look at the modes we've got on offer. We've got kickoff, of course. We've got the 2010 World Cup tournament mode, captain your country, the story of qualifying, online World Cup, an Xbox Live section, penalty shootout mode, which we don't even have nowadays, my 2010 World Cup, and the FIFA World Cup store. It's a tradition. You guys know the go by now. Every one of these FIFA retro videos, we've got to start off in the practice arena, and you can already see some fun little facts pop up on the screen. Nice little zoom into the world. The globe played a prominent feature in the menus, and just like that, you're just transported to South Africa with the mountains in the background. For some reason, my team is England. I don't know how to change that, but here we are at the England training facilities, and it was actually a nice little environment. There was only one, unlike Brazil 2014, which took it up a few levels with the multiple environments, but still, it was so much detail in the background. You got the trees, you got the flags. It doesn't tell you who you're controlling in the bottom left corner anymore. So a couple of flaws with this practice arena, but you're kicking it about with the Jabulani. So you're currently living your best life. This is peak FIFA right here. And of course, once you banged one into the back of the net, you got a lovely little instant replay, which to be honest, I miss dearly, because when you score a banger in the practice arena, you just want to watch it back and just take it in all its glory. And you can even hold X if you wanted to save it to the replay theater or check it out at different angles. On earth would want to be in the practice arena with Ashley Cole, but nevertheless, you had the composure meter. This was revolutionary, a brand new system at the time, and basically what you wanted to do was get it in the green as much as possible and just let it rip. And of course, you got the instant replay on this one as well. Not only could you be one-on-one with the keeper, you could have a practice set piece, you could practice match, you could also create a set piece. So that feature dates back to this World Cup game, a feature which is still not in current day FIFA. You can't create your set piece, and back in the 2010 World Cup, you could do as you please. You could set your region. We've explored this on the channel before, but you could create run paths, you could change where your players were positioned, and then see that actually take place once you activate your created set piece in-game on the practice pitch. In the training arena, you could also get your other players to run in all kinds of different directions. Like if you wanted this guy to run at the back stick, you could, and then you could test it. Even though we've created something pretty simple, you could see the paths lined out on the pitch. They're going to do their first runs, then reset, then go back to the start. And then basically, you've just got a free roam practice mode. You've got a practice match in-game, which is something EA didn't bring back until like FC24. It was all happening here in South Africa, and this game was quite revolutionary when it came to the practice arena. I want to test out this one. We've got about 15 different run paths loaded up, so let's just chip this one into the box and see it play out in action. Now, man at the back stick, but you can see what I'm getting at. You also could practice a set piece, and you could either practice corner kicks, free kicks, throw-ins even. That's a new one. Penalties, of course, and just customize how many attackers you wanted, how many defenders, but it gave you the option to fine-tune and tweak everything. I love this like little practice arena environment, how it expands. You've got the houses in the background, the palm trees, the floodlights. They really did a good job of capturing that South African 2010 essence. And of course, we're going to practice a few set pieces. And don't forget about the practice matches you could do. You could just do like 11v11, just a quick little kickabout to make sure everything is in tip-top shape before you test it out on the world stage. And then of course, when you change your nation, that's going to impact the training ground. You're going to have all the Italian or the English flags, whatever country you choose, obviously. And it just makes it feel more personalized. It makes you feel like you're immersed in the world and you're actually in South Africa training for the biggest tournament in world football. And we've got Chiellini. However, you still couldn't choose your specific player or keeper. It was just randomized, and they were actually wearing the World Cup warm-up bibs, not the full kit as you'd expect from future practice arenas. But I guess that's what sets this one apart. Like every other practice arena, they'd be wearing their full kits. But no, in 2010, this is the training ground and they're gonna wear their training gear. Like, look at this absolute marvel of a front cover and tell me you're not aroused. Tell me you don't want to play this game. They were cooking, bro. They were in the lab. EA were actually like on their game. No cover stars, no cover athletes, just a perfectly crafted cover sculpted by the gods. And this is back when you'd get like a full manual with the game as well. You had like all the controls, what to do. Like, this was a full experience. Oh, this was the mobile game. They had a mobile game back then. Oh, you kids were too young for this. Back when you had to text certain words to company numbers in order to unlock things. Like, it was just a different time. And the back, this is what we have to look forward to today. Everyone can play in the 2010 FIFA World Cup. And they meant everyone. They had bloody over 200 nations in this game. Oh, correct me, 199 national teams and 10 official World Cup stadiums, which, you know, you've seen the DLCs we've gotten nowadays. They barely get 2. They got 2 for Qatar. Couldn't even get all the ones for Germany for the Euros. Lead your country to glory online. Challenge fans across the globe in the first ever full World Cup finals tournament. So this was probably the debut of the online era. And the story of finals. Replay pivotal moments from the 2010 FIFA World Cup. A live service that delivers matches from the World Cup directly to your consoles. Feel the emotion and drama and replay pivotal moments from the tournament. Again, I'm sweating when it comes to the live service element because now we don't really have access to any of that, so I hope it's still on the game somewhere. A couple of other niche features and corners of this game I want to explore before we really dive into the meat and bones is all the extras content. Obviously, you had this store which you can't access anymore, but you also had extras. For some reason, you could have unlockables. You could buy like real world products like Coke bottles and then enter the code on the back of the bottle in game, and then you get some kind of reward. I assume it was cosmetic. I don't know exactly what you'd win, but let us know down in the comments below if anyone remembers these promotional activities or promo codes. Maybe there were celebrations, considering it's Coca-Cola celebrations, Adidas unlockables, maybe new boots, new kits. I'm not quite sure, but this was like the catalog before the catalog became a thing. Eventually down the road in FIFA 12, you had to kind of unlock everything by buying real world items. So maybe it was a good thing they didn't lead down this path. You could see all the achievements laid out. Here we go. We've already unlocked a few because I've played this before for other videos on the channel. There are a lot of online achievements that we can't really unlock anymore because all the servers are offline. Win the online World Cup with a 1-star team. God damn, if anyone's done that, fair play to you. Imagine trying to win with bloody San Marino online. You got to do it multiple times. You got to do it with a 1-star team, a 2-star team, a 3-star team. This is a secret achievement. tournament. You gotta go undefeated in the group stage like New Zealand did back in 2010. There are some really weird challenges on here. You had to concede 14 goals and still go on to win the World Cup. I don't know how that's possible. You gotta win a Player of the Tournament award and captain your country. There were just so many challenges and scenarios EA laid out for you back then. Achievements that made this game have so much replay value, as it pretty much forced you to play in every single continent and use at least one team per continent. If you were a completionist, this game would have kept you busy. Oh my god. This game encouraged you to quit whilst you're losing. It rewarded you for being bad at the game. That's how much they just threw in these random achievements. Who knows, maybe we could go through this video and unlock a few more achievements along the way, but of course, like every great old FIFA game, there's an amazing soundtrack to go along with it. And it also served as a way for like national representation on the global scale. Like, look at every single artist, every single song on here. You've got their nation, their country of origin right next to the song. You've got an Indian song for all the Indians out there, some Brazilian beats, some Chilean instrumentals. We're going worldwide with it. And of course, we had the most iconic World Cup song of all time, Waving Flag. South Africa, the hosts, get a couple of tunes as well. It was just such a cool touch and attention to detail, because I swear no other FIFA soundtrack had this feature where you could see where the actual artists and songs were from. You had Portugal, England, Nigeria. It felt like everyone was getting their spotlight on the soundtrack. The only fault about this soundtrack is that it didn't have Waka Waka. That's like the one little asterisk on this playlist, but it really feels like something is blatantly missing when you don't hear Waka Waka play on this game. So as always, it's my turn to be the DJ, and let me know what were some of your favorite World Cup songs. Let me know down below and enjoy the bangers. Of this tournament, automatically there is only one man you can think of. This player had the World Cup of his life. He had the tournament in a chokehold. He scored some absolute beauty, some bangers, which led Uruguay to the semi-finals. Literally the player of the tournament, an absolute mastermind. My god, he was special. He was one of a kind. And I know you're all curious, but the player who won the best young player of the tournament award isn't even in these default squads. Thomas Muller, called up for Germany in 2010, back when he was a young wonder kid. He is nowhere to be seen here on these rosters. France had literally one of the worst World Cup campaign disasters of all time. They got grouped, the whole squad turned against the manager, turned against each other, players got sent home. Nicholas and Nelka had a fight with the manager and got sent home. Like, these were really strange times. For some reason, there were so many controversies surrounding this World Cup. Italy, yeah, let's not talk about the defending champions back in 2010. Less said the better. And Frank Lampard got denied a clear goal against Germany. With the lack of goal line technology, for some reason FIFA just didn't want to spend the money and implement it into all the stadiums. So that was just a classic controversial memory I have. One of the most iconic in World Cup history. What are some of your favorite 2010 real world World Cup memories? As we actually have the rest of the world Adidas U11 team roster here. These are all the all-stars on that exhibition team. Adebayor, oh my god. Prime Emmanuel Adebayor, you just had to be there. Something else that just gives me a mad rush of nostalgia and a flash of memories. It's just like the boots and the aesthetics of the time. Like, this was a time in my life where I was just obsessed with the brand menu boots, whether it was Nike, Adidas. Every time I went to a sports shop, I was just looking at like the best new boots to buy, begging someone to buy them for me. And oh, these iconic T90s that Rooney used to rep. We have the Adidas Adi Pures that like I just remember midfielders like Lampard and Gerrard would wear. The Adidas F50s, oh, the classics. I'm pretty confident Messi and like winger type players wore these F50s. We had the Adidas Predators, which you know, the name hasn't aged all too well over the years, but they were some just classic boots that again midfield generals would wear. Had an iconic catalog to boast about. And oh, these Nike Mercurials, I was upset. I wanted these so bad. The Superfly Mark II purple obsidian, I was just this is what I dream of. I'd be watching games just to see these boots perform and play on the pitch. A lot of different brands to choose from, and I assume you could have some unlockables with all those promo code and content and the FIFA store, which we can't really activate nowadays. We can't even buy anything from it. So this was just the default set of boots you'd get. And an OG feature I wish EA brought back. It's a small one, but it's the randomize button in the player creation center. You can just hit X on your controller and everything about the player can get randomized besides their name when you're doing it with a real player. Another little micro feature that I absolutely love is the quick match that pops up like in the menus there. You can just instantly navigate the globe too. You could just hold RS and you can navigate throughout the globe quickly, or you could just press start in the main menu and it loads you in to like a quick match or a match of the day to get you thrown straight deep into the action. Alright, we can definitely rule out the Xbox Live tab. Like nothing's gonna work from here. Yeah, everything on this tab is pretty much rendered useless. Like I'd love to check in on all these tables and leaderboards, and the online FIFA World Cup, yeah, it just can't even enter into it. Thankfully, we have all the offline content, which outweighs the online content in this game. The penalty shootout mode, which didn't really make a comeback. I remember it being on like the DS version of the game. I don't know if anyone else would remember that, but I do. A good way to actually practice penalty shootouts. Something which you don't really get to do unless you obviously reach it in a real game, but you can't just straight out practice penalty shootouts. Kind of let the CPU do it. For some reason, you can just simulate a penalty shootout, and that's unrealistic. Pirlo doesn't hit penalties that hard. Man, my ball knowledge is really rough. You got Patrice Evra now stepping up to take it, a young Patrice Evra. And those were some T90s that we didn't actually have at our disposal in the catalog, so there were more boots in the game. And now Italy wins it. Buffon celebrating, and Italy have won the penalty shootout. Oh, that was just a qualifying round. I love that return to the menu animation from the ground. I don't know, man. There was just so many cool things about this game. I'm gushing. But you could just have penalty shootout practice, which I assume is where we can take over now these little transitions into the game before you jump in. You'd have some random fun facts. You've got the 2010 World Cup mascot there. The population of Chad is 10 million. Practice penalties in a non-game environment, just on the practice arena in the training ground. You had to aim. Oh man, these penalties were different. You had to kind of power it up before, yeah, hit the composure bar and then choose where you want to go. Oh, and you could change what kind of match it was, so you could alternate to like a quarterfinal or just put a final on at the Soccer City Stadium at night and set the atmosphere. But I had to unlock it. The population of Gabon is 1.5 million. Just a little fun fact. Thought I'd sneak that one in there for you. This Argentina team though, a young Messi on the cusp of winning all those Ballon d'Ors. Javier Zanetti still kicking about. Prime Carlos Tevez with his bulldog-like approach. Javier Mascherano. Oh my god, Fernando Gago. Heinze, a former Man United player. Mikel de Michelis. Brazil versus Argentina. Messi. Oh no, I've stuffed up the composure. Messi's gonna miss. No, he slots it straight home. What was this World Cup ball? Is that the old retro World Cup ball? I've got no idea. Another fun little detailed feature I like about this game is that you could pretty much like zoom around the whole entire globe. Go around and say like, what team is like, what country is that? Uruguay. Had no idea. Or like go to somewhere you're not familiar with. Like, what is this island over here? It's Tahiti. You could like explore the whole globe and like pinpoint a specific area or specific island and select something like, what's this island here? We've got Chinese Taipei. I don't know. Something about it makes you want to explore every single crevice of the world. Cameroon's down here. What's south of Cameroon? Gabon. What's right above South Africa? The host nation. We've got Botswana. Tirana. It makes you a bloody geography expert. The whole UI and world experience was really put on show here, and another lovely feature that I can get behind is the national anthem feature, which you could just press Y and hear every single national anthem in the game. The Algerian national anthem, if you ever wanted to hear it play out. Not only the national anthem built in, but the country's current population at the time, which for Albania was 3.6 million, and the capital, which is Tirana. Again, lovely little fun facts and educational things all to learn here in this World Cup game. And who knew the capital of Turkmenistan was Ashgabat? Here we are now, knowing they have a population of 4.8 million. You could get lost. You could just spend so many hours here in the menu, and we haven't even loaded into a game yet. No way. It had the world ranking at the time, how many World Cup wins they had, how many qualifications, their finals record all on display, accurate as of the 31st of March 2010. So this was all info just before the tournament started, but I didn't realize all these tabs had so much info, and I assume this one had more, like what the current news was, but you just don't have connection to the servers. That's surely rock bottom. San Marino, 201st in the world. When the US Virgin Islands is above you in the FIFA World Rankings, you know something's up. I could spend all day in here just looking around at every nation. They actually put care and detail into all these World Cup games to make sure everyone was represented properly. Features like that you'll probably never ever see back in a FIFA game. Now let's go for the rematch of the 2010 World Cup. We got Spain versus Holland here, and what I like about this kit selection is not only did they have their World Cup kits in 2010, but they also had like their qualifying kits to select from too, so that's a nice touch, but I want to recreate it faithfully. The Bernabeu in this game, okay, that's a weird one, but I want to try and recreate it. You could do the Stadio Olimpico as well, okay, maybe because they were stadiums used in the qualifiers, so it makes sense to why these stadiums were in the game, but I want the Soccer City Stadium, which was where the final played out. Some more fun facts with some hints down the side, with Montenegro's biggest win being 2-1 over Georgia, how they've never qualified for the World Cup final. So this game wasn't afraid to throw shade out there, and here was the pageantry as you loaded into the game. You had the fireworks, all the fans showing up in their numbers, the confetti raining down on the pitch. You had the actual teams walking out of the tunnel. You had the national anthems, which I know it seems like a basic feature, but isn't in modern day FIFAs. You actually had the managers scanned in game, which was revolutionary for the time back then, because by the time EA added it back into the game, it was like FIFA 17. So real world managers were in these World Cup and Euros games. You had the commentary team of Clyde Tildesley and Andy Townsend, Bert van Marwijk, oh my god, I remember that guy. He coached Australia eventually. Then you had the lineups. This Spain team, this Spanish dynasty was absolutely unreal. You had the players warming up. This Holland team that came so close, Robin, Van Persie, Van der Bar, and it's just like we're in 2010 all over again with the accurate scoreboards. I know it's a small touch, but like the FIFA branding, it was beautiful. As Spain, with the Jabulani about to rain in on goal. Straight away, we've just been dunked on by Fernando Torres. So this game was absolutely brutal. I have not held up to it whatsoever. This has caught me off guard. Before his move to Chelsea, Xabi Alonso with the assist, and the Jabulani looking as pristine as ever. And we get cut away to the manager's reactions on the sideline too. And of course, you had the ad boards, the Adidas branding. Oh my god. The goalkeeper didn't even bother activating. Spain are just going to tear me a new one, aren't they? What a tackle. How's he pulled that one up and not the one before? This is some... red card. He got the ball, ref. All ball. I mean, he got the man first, but he just shoulder barged him and then got the ball. He barely touched him. That is VAR back in the day would have been handy. No goal line technology in this tournament either. So we're seeing controversies unfold left, right, and center. And Spain are putting on a clinic at the moment. David Villa on a hat-trick. And this is turning into a disaster class. Bloody daylight robbery by the referee. It's night time and he's committing daylight robbery. This is professional difficulty. Maybe I'm just past it. I've hit unk status. And this was the halftime animation. You got a weird close-up of everyone. Del Bosque, for some reason, looks disappointed even though Spain are 4-0 up. Yeah, this gameplay, not gonna lie, aged like milk. Like, when you're coming off playing the modern FIFAs to going back to this, it feels like night and day. The dribbling, the first touches, the passing, I guess it just takes a lot to get used to, but 6-0 on professional difficulty. It's going to be a long adjustment process as Dirk Kuyt gets injured. Like, how bad can this game get? Oh, the old injured substitution. Oh, the fan. Ooh. the cameraman getting creative with these angles. And here are your post-match celebrations or commiserations for the Dutch in this case. You get the losing animation. You also get your opposition celebrating. A couple of cutscenes. Del Bosque finally happy with the boys after they just whipped out a 6-0 thumping. After the match, you could see the match facts, the match events, everything that went down in the game, injuries, red cards, goals, chances, player ratings. However, in the final, in those big matches where a lot's on the line, it's a different story. I guess you can also find out what happens when you lose the World Cup final in this video, because that's exactly what we've done. I think they actually programmed a different World Cup celebration to happen when you do lose it, but yeah, it didn't really work out for us in the end. France go on to win another title in this video, and it just cuts there. Okay, we're actually gonna have to win it this time to see the trophy lift. The referee blows his whistle. Second time lucky. In the second time around, we beat France. We made sure to mean business as the Italians write their names into the history books yet again. Theoretically, winning it 2 times in a row. 2006 and now 2010 in the World Cup rematch. And Lippi is ecstatic as ever as these players write their names into folklore. We got some cult heroes in this team, man. De Rossi and Pirlo in the midfield. A wonder kid Marchisio, Grosso, Fabio Grosso. A lot of these players have turned into Italian managers in real life, so it's cool to see. But this World Cup final celebration, the confetti is raining down from the heavens. It's night time here in South Africa as they've won on African soil for the first time. The players are having a blast. We've got Gilardino scored all our goals. Pirlo giving hugs to the manager, showing their appreciation for the leader, the main man of the Italian national team. The fans going absolutely crazy as well with the face paint and all. They're lining up for the trophy. No medals in this game. Well, I don't think any World Cup final had medals in it, but Cannavaro, the captain, going to lift it, giving it a few kisses before. I think this was actually inspired by the 2006 World Cup ceremony, because that's what the Italian players were doing, like gathering around it, worshipping the trophy before it finally got lifted. Like, yeah, giving it kisses, getting a feel for it before the final lift actually happens. That was a cool added touch to see that they actually implemented into the game. And now we have the captain to raise the trophy up high. He's barely got a grip of it. Just like 2006 celebration, they didn't get that sorted. The party has commenced here in Johannesburg and in the Soccer City Stadium. The celebration's gonna go long into the night. The World Cup trophy looking better than ever, because yeah, in 06 it definitely could have looked better than it actually was. But again, they had more time with these next-gen consoles, actually perfected the graphics and made sure that things were looking on point, represented properly, and they get their final little lap of honor, getting to parade the trophy around the stadium, showcasing it to the fans. Yeah, it's a memorable night, and this cutscene as well goes for quite a while. The different angles, the different shots that they captured for this World Cup celebration, and it's still going. Cannavaro is not going to stop shouting anytime soon. We'll get one final look at the firework display, and that is that. And ways you could go about winning the most coveted trophy in football is through just a straight up tournament simulation where you could load straight into the finals, just start it off from the qualification, or just do a full finals and qualification tournament run through and follow the real world realistic feature types, or just customize it entirely. So I gave you the option. I want to test out the African qualification process. The capital city of Djibouti is Djibouti. You can then go on to choose between any and all African nations. So just for the fun of it, just because why not, let's go for, I don't know, Sierra Leone and get some diamonds in Sierra Leone. And you could select not only one but multiple nations to do a qualifying process with. Those are the realistic groups and teams you'd face, and we're just gonna generate the fixture list and off we go. We get some US Virgin Island fun facts thrown at us in the loading screen. This is gonna be one of the best loading screens of all time. Thrown into the qualifying menu, you had the practice arena in the background, and here we are in June 1st, 2008, when the qualifying campaign began. Qualification, Sierra Leone begin their 2010 World Cup campaign. The path to South Africa will be long, hard, and full of drama, but they hope to be lining up when the tournament begins on June 11th in Soccer City, Johannesburg, baby. That's what we want. As you can see on the side panel, you've got play match, squad, training tables, results, statistics. You had pretty much everything on one screen. It was kind of like the website look. FIFA.com in the top left corner, you had your standings on the right, you have the results running down the bottom, top goal scorers, 1.5 star Sierra Leone team, you had your reserves, your squad, your extended team, your substitutes. You could do a proper road to glory on this. You also had training, which was just a practice arena mode, and it was actually a different environment. So there you go. You had a different environment depending on what nation you were, I guess, depended on the environment. If you were one of these low tier 1-star nations, but within captain your country and this World Cup qualifying mode, you could do a practice match, you could do a practice set piece or one-on-one, create a set piece, which you still can't do in modern day career mode, so you got to give it to them. Or you could also see every other continent as well, so you could keep an eye out on everything. Who are the underdogs, who are making a qualification run throughout every single region. Oh, you could full see the world rankings of all the nations, like, and an update throughout the qualification process and on your way to the World Cup, so we can get a full look at the entirety of the rankings here. That's class. I love that little attention to detail. You could see top goal scorers, Alexandre Song, yellow cards, red cards. And this was when you'd load up into a game, and before loading, you'd just be in the practice arena, and then it would eventually transition to the actual stadium. And here we are. Where are we? This stadium, this environment is so cool. You got houses on the hill, this little like regional grounds. We might be in like Sierra Leone here, actually. I don't know. But the buildings in the back, the mountains there, the surroundings of the stadium, the pageantry, the national anthems, even these qualifying games, these low-tier qualifiers got treated with the same respect and full pre-match antics as the big games do. And look, you could see there was some wear and tear on the pitch. This is not a FIFA-approved pitch, I can tell you that for free. This is as dry as a desert. And here is the calendar. You couldn't really access it. This just happened after your game, so it just simulated to the next game. You couldn't really do anything in between. And same goes here with captain your country. You could do the same setup, really. You could go from the qualification or the finals. I'm just going to start real fixture type. Captain your country kind of came back in the Euros 2024 DLC, but nothing like this, where you could select 4 players, try and simulate 4 different careers at the same time. It kept you busy, kept your hands full. Either play as a real player, create a new player, or load a virtual pro from FIFA 10. So there was a bit of crossover. If you had FIFA 10, you could get some extra content and carry some data and your progress over into this World Cup exclusive game. But for player 1, I want to create a new player, get fancy with it, and start randomizing everything. Commentary name Eto for Theo Heskey. Alright, he's a central defender, and you could actually go in, pretty much customize everything about them, customize their look, into the fringe players. Then you're trying to break into the first 11 before the World Cup starts and before you qualify, and then eventually be captaining it, reaching number 1 and dethroning Rio Ferdinand. But you could still do all the training in the world you wanted to, and everything was kind of the same. It doesn't really matter whether you're England or Botswana, you get the same little practice arena, training ground environment. Career? Oh, this was your own personal career and all your captains of your countries, I guess, all your selected players. You could see not only their goals and assists, but yellow cards, red cards, shots on target, passes, crosses, dribbles completed, successful tackles. You got some really detailed stuff, and you also had virtual pro objectives, which was obviously, you had the big ones like World Cup winner, captain your country, how many times you've been capped, your first international goal. You had little finishing incentives to actually go out and achieve this stuff. You had reputation boost, top performer stuff, win the golden boot, win 5 man of the match awards, and you like all went towards your personal growth and development. If you became the best player in the world, this is how you unlock the classic team. You had to make the all-star team and captain your country. Look at all these goals you could strive towards, all these achievements that'll keep you busy and keep that replay factor on loop. Win the World Cup and captain your country, and you could use your improved or end game pro in other offline modes. I guess you could export it back to FIFA 10 and use him in career mode, or just use him in kickoff. A lot of offline benefits this game gave you, and I am definitely jealous that people got to play back when the servers were actually online and got the full encapsulated experience. And here we have last but certainly not least is a story of qualifying. This feature became synonymous with this game and made this installment go down as one of the best in the franchise, and people desperately wanted to see this mode return in the next upcoming World Cup games. And this was where basically you could go throughout the qualification process in each and every region and play out certain matches, certain events where you could hop straight in. I didn't know this before, but you could go back and unlock extras to 2006 and play different eras. You could go back to Germany and replay some classic World Cup moments. But of course, you had to unlock them all the way, and I'm pretty sure you got this once you completed the initial set. You had not only qualification, but story of the finals, which got updated throughout the tournament, and you unfortunately need to be signed into into the servers for. So that was that little live service feature the back of the box was talking about. You had your experience meter, your points. 21,000 was the cap or the goal. And the 2006, it ended in the final. You had multiple 2006 scenarios, especially for the final. What drama. France have had Zinedine Zidane dismissed for serious foul play. Can the Italians capitalize? So you had different objectives, different goals, which gave you certain XP. Get you like hyped for the tournament with the real life photos, with the players, with the detailed scenarios that happened in real life, like France with 2-0 down against Romania. Can you come back? It made you feel just more connected and more immersed to the world of real football. It made you want to replicate what you saw on TV in FIFA and gave you the option to, you know, rewrite history in a way. Let's go Germany against Russia. Germany have been sent off as Russia pile on the pressure in Moscow. Let's jump in and see what we can do here with the Russians now banned from all FIFA games and FIFA participation. And you could only play on world-class, professional, or legendary. So there was no cheating out here. You had to do it. This scenario mode was definitely one for the completionists. Like, this was hard. To complete all of the actual scenarios, it was going to be a tough challenge. So here we are, thrown into the moment where Jerome Boateng gets the red card. Germany down to 10. And basically, you've got 20 minutes left on the clock to pull one back for the Russians. Gus Hiddink was the Russian manager back then. That's a deep cut. Oh my god, Russia are gonna open them up. 10-man Germany. We've actually scored on professional difficulty, and it is that man Arshavin. Oh, who could forget Andrei Arshavin at Arsenal? And he points to the heavens in the purple Mercurials that I absolutely love. The Russians tiki-taka their way through the 10-man Germany defense, and we've got a qualifying game on our hands, people. And you can actually see they had the qualification World Cup badges on as well, so the attention to detail with the kits. And we haven't seen this qualification process or scenario mode since 2014, which is quite sad to see. So this is what would happen once you finished the scenario and completed your objectives or failed, whichever one came first. But you get the normal post-match celebrations, your manager celebrating and fist pumping the air, and then you'd get this screen here and the points earned. We had to win, which we did, 200 points. We actually had to score 4 goals, which I wasn't aware of. We ended up conceding no more goals, so we completed 2 out of the 3 objectives, only 300 out of a possible 400 points. So obviously your boy's got a long way to go, but this is the closest thing we're gonna get to like retro eras and playing different time periods in a FIFA games. And I don't mean it lightly when I say this game was revolutionary for the time, because some features we've never ever seen back. I feel like that's another perfect note to end another FIFA retro video on the channel. If you do enjoy these classic look backs on pieces of FIFA history, you know where to find me, you know where to go. Keep it locked and loaded right here. And of course, let me know your favorite memories, your favorite moments playing this game and just watching the 2010 World Cup. I know for a lot of people my age and my generation, this was the moment. This was the tournament that made them football fanatics. This was what got them into the sport. And I remember it playing a huge role and impacting my childhood immensely. So it definitely does hold a special place in a lot of our hearts and a lot of nostalgia, not only with the game, but the tournament as a whole. And what other retro games, what other retro content should we cover next on the channel? Let me know down below. As always, if you've made it this far, drop the video a like down below, hit subscribe, turn on the notifications so you never miss out on any more content coming to the channel. As always, I've been your boy Sir BCHD. Have a great day, and I'll catch you all in the very next video. Bye bye.